Hello, everyone. This is John Garcia. I want to welcome you to the 7 Health Hacks in 7 Days program. I congratulate you for taking this step. Like I said in the video, this program is for people who are really focused, ready to do the right thing with their health and wellness, and just feel like no matter what you've done, no matter what you've tried, you're not able to sustain it because either it's too time consuming or you just haven't been able to make it sustainable. These 7 hacks you're about to learn are really just about your lifestyle. And we're not adding a ton of things for you to do and finding too much time in your day to kind of fit this in. We're talking about 7 things that are really already part of your everyday life. You just don't know it, and you don't know how to really optimize it for the best health. So the first one that we're going to start with is managing and controlling stress. So if I asked you, what is the single most important thing you can do to improve your health and wellness? Obviously, I kind of gave you the answer already, and that's learning to manage and control stress. I can't really stress enough, pun intended, how important this is. In fact, it is everything that you do, from diet to exercise to sleep to drinking water to meditation, anything that you do to improve your health and wellness all boils down to being able to better manage and control your stress. Stress is a lot more than just feeling a little agitated or feeling a little bit anxious. There's a lot of actual direct results that are extremely negative, that open the doors to disease, that open the door to a lot of chronic illnesses. They say stress is related or is part of, has its fingers in 90% of illness and diseases. So it is that important. And let's go through some of these in these slides. So what happens to your body when you're stressed? I'm going to read this here. Acute stress response. The acute stress response is an immediate response to a stressful event. The body's immediate response is to release chemicals called stress hormones, like cortisol, which are used by the body to make energy. This energy is diverted to muscle and brain tissues and certain cells. It's actually part of your nervous system. And we're going to talk about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. But your body basically has a chemical reaction, and it needs to do things to send resources to other parts of the body so you can react. Now, this is something that has evolved over thousands of years. When humans, were hunters and gatherers, this is the traditional example, and we're out in and we're trying to hunt, and then you become hunted, and there's a lion after you. Your body is stressed, and then it has these reactions so that you can run real fast, so your heart rate moves up, and you can handle that situation. Now, we don't really do that anymore. Publix and Walmart uh, can be very stressful of its own, but it's not that kind of stress. The thing is, your body doesn't really know the difference from the stress trigger. So what happens now is, since we're stressed all the time, we get this. We have the chronic stress response. Chronic stress occurs when a person has continuous acute stress response. Chronic stress results in more sustained changes in the body, such as increased blood pressure, for instance, which over time can result in damaged arteries and heart disease. The continuous increase in stress hormones can also result in suppression of the immune system's white blood cells, leading to an increase in risk of infection. So now, because it's not fight or flight, it's like fight and flight all the time. This stays on. This stress mechanism and response stays on. So now we're chronically stressed. Your immune system's reaction to infections, basically, your body has an innate immune response, which is the first line of defense that provides an immediate response to infectious microbes before your body begins to generate an adaptive immune response. All that fancy stuff basically means that, sorry, I'm having trouble with this, that researchers have found that during periods of acute stress, cells of an innate immune system are more active and increase their circulation throughout the body in order to patrol for infectious microbes. So that's fine. When we're in the acute state, everything is working good. Back to the chronic state. Again, we're stressed all the time. If I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you? If you say anything over a 5, you're leaning obviously the scale on the side of more continuously stressed. So if you're feeling 8, 9, or 10 on the stress, you are chronically stressed, and these are the type of um, conditions or type of situations that you may find yourself in, and you'll be nodding your head yes. So during periods of chronic stress, the adaptive immune system is suppressed. So that other system is suppressed due to continued high levels of stress hormones. So those stress hormones are there firing all the time. As a result, your body is slower at healing wounds, less able to produce antibodies, and more susceptible to viral infections. These effects are even more pronounced in the elderly whose immune systems are already weakened. So stress hormones in the body all the time are now suppressing our immune system. This is a real thing. This is not why I feel tired, I get sick a lot. I'm always getting a cold, that's more than likely because of your stress. Let's talk about 10 health problems related to stress. Number one, of course, is heart disease. Researchers have long suspected that the stressed out type A personality has a higher risk of high blood pressure and heart problems. Stress can directly increase heart rate and blood flow and causes the release of cholesterol, triglycerides into the bloodstream. It's also possible that stress is related to other problems, as increased likelihood of smoking or obesity, which indirectly increase heart rate. So you're stressed out. A lot of people who are stressed out turn to a cigarette. They turn to food. They obsess over certain things, which now indirectly affects negatively the heart disease again. So it actually contributes then to these behaviors. Asthma. Here's an interesting one. Many studies have shown that stress can worsen asthma. Some evidence suggests that a parent's chronic stress might even increase the risk of developing asthma in their children. So this is now creating something, down line, right? Hereditary. One study looked at how parental stress affected the asthma rates of young children who were also exposed to air pollution or whose mothers smoked during pregnancy. The kids with stressed out parents had a substantially higher risk of developing asthma. So there is a direct link not only to your health, but to the health of your kids when it comes to asthma. Obesity, so we're talking about three of the top problems already in the US, heart disease, asthma, obesity. Excess fat in the belly seems to pose greater risk than fat on the legs or the hips. So if you got it here in the belly, you have to be more careful. If it's in the hips, the legs or the hips, you have less to worry about. Unfortunately, though, most people store their stress in their belly. So stress causes high levels of the hormone called cortisol. When your body doesn't use it all, it kind of stores it, and that is what causes some of this fatty tissue um, in your belly. Diabetes. So we're not talking about anything new here. I mean, these are all the most common problems. Stress can worsen diabetes in two ways. It increases the likelihood of bad behaviors, such as unhealthy eating and excessive drinking, and we talked about smoking as well. Second, stress seems to rise the glucose levels of people with type 2 diabetes. So it does create an increase in the glucose levels, obviously directly affecting your ability for um, absorbing insulin and creating a worse situation with your diabetes. Um, Headaches. I'm pretty sure, everyone suffers from headaches. Headaches come from all different things, but chronic headaches and if you have a headache situation consistently, stress is considered one of the most common triggers for headaches, not just tension headaches, but migraines as well. Depression and anxiety. So it's probably no surprise that chronic stress is connected with higher rates of depression and anxiety. One survey of recent studies found that people who had stress related to their jobs, like demanding work with few rewards, I'm sure a lot of us have been there, had an 80% higher risk of developing depression within a few years than people with lower stress. I mean, a lot of this kind of may sound like common sense. There's some science here with this that we touched on some of it and we'll talk more. But I think we take it for granted. We take it for granted I'm stressed, and so I understand I'm going to feel a little depressed or anxious. But we can't really overlook it anymore because we're allowing it to create, from acute to chronic. And now we're developing things that, that are going to kill us. I mean, that are going to take us to a place of illness and disease that we don't really need to be at. We can control this. We don't have to allow the stress to get to this point. Gastrointestinal problems. Here's one thing that stress doesn't do. It doesn't cause ulcers. However, it can make them worse. Stress is also a common factor in many GI conditions such as chronic heartburn, reflux, irritable bowel syndrome. I myself, growing up, suffered a great deal from mostly heartburn, a lot of chronic heartburn. And I've learned, stress being one of the triggers, how to make that better by eating better, by of course other ways of managing my stress, eating more beets, actually adding some acid to my digestion with LCL. Um, these things have all helped, but now that I know what I know, I understand why the problems were so chronic in my life. Alzheimer's disease. One animal study found that stress might worsen Alzheimer's disease, causing its brain lesions to form more quickly. Some researchers speculate that reducing stress has the potential to slow down the progression of the disease. I mean, anything we can do to slow down or prevent or, totally eliminate Alzheimer's disease is obviously something we need to consider. Accelerated aging, I coach mostly midlife adults, and accelerated or aging is something we're obviously, more aware of, more cognizant of. We're older, and we don't want to be older faster. So there's actually evidence that stress can affect how you age. This is incredible. One study compared the DNA of mothers who were under high stress. They were caring for a chronically ill child against women who were not, and researchers found that a particular region of chromosomes showed the effects of accelerated aging. Stress seemed to accelerate aging about 9 to 17 additional years. I'm sorry to break that to you. So the answer is don't care for your child. I'm just kidding. God bless. And you may say, hey, John, what choice do I have? I have to care for the child. Yes, you're going to care for the child. You may even care for an aging parent, and stress and, work and bills and everything that will never end until our time here ends. So the point is, how are you going to handle all of those situations, not eliminate them? And then, of course, premature death. If you age faster, you're going to reach that finish line faster. A study looked at the health effects of stress by studying elderly caregivers looking after their spouses. So that's a tough one. People who are naturally under a great deal of stress, it found that caregivers had a 63% higher rate of death than people their age who were not caregivers. So again, the answer is don't care about anybody. I'm sorry, I keep going there. Again, the answer is how do you manage those stress triggers, because they will be there. It's life. Um, why does this happen? Let's discuss the effects of stress on the body. So we talked a little bit about this already. There's increased cortisol production. It's one of the hormones that are triggered when your body's under stress. It's associated with weight gain, especially in the belly, inability to lose weight or gain muscle, and premature aging. Now, there's a decrease in nutrient absorption. So your body is, due to a decreased enzymatic production, so less enzymes from the stomach, pancreas, and liver, reduced bile flow from the gallbladder, decreased oxygenation in the gastrointestinal. But for all of that's going on, guess what? The nutrients are not being absorbed. You need all of those things to happen naturally in your body so that the nutrients that you have get absorbed, which is what actually the body, that you could eat as healthy as you want. If it's not being absorbed, you're not getting the benefits of it. So in addition to it not being absorbed, we're also increasing the nutrient excretion. So there's urinary loss of calcium, magnesium, potassium, zinc, chromium, selenium, and various microminerals. So there's an increase in the excretion. So you're absorbing less, you're excreting more. Bad combination. There's a decrease in the gut flora populations. That's the little finger things in your stomach that kind of absorb, again, the nutrients. So healthy intestinal bacteria are destroyed by stress, which can lead to immune problems, skin disorders, nutrient deficiencies, and digestive distress. Are you stressed out yet? Disease in thermic efficiency, a decrease. So basically what this means is your ability to burn calories is diminished. So again, you're exercising, you're thinking you're doing the right thing, but when you're under stress, you're not getting the full benefits of the exercise, just like you're not getting the full benefits of the healthy food, because your body is shutting that down. And in this case, your body is not burning the calories that you should be burning. Decrease in thyroid hormone can lead to reduction in metabolic activity. I mean, that has its fingers also in everything that's healthy in your body. Increase in blood cholesterol. Stress by itself will raise LDL levels. So if you have high cholesterol, there's a very, direct link between high stress. They say there's a lot of different studies. Eat eggs, don't eat eggs, this, that, the other. But really about 10 to 15% of your cholesterol numbers can be affected by your diet. So there's still 85% there that's not. And I, as a person who also had borderline high cholesterol, have been able to dramatically drop those numbers by stress management and some other healthy lifestyle changes that I've made. Increase in blood platelet aggregation. Basically, it's a significant risk in heart disease because you're talking about clogging up arteries. Increase in inflammation. Stress is what I'm telling you the most important thing you need to do to control to improve your health and wellness. Reason being is this: inflammation is one of the root causes of like every disease that's out there. And again, listen, I'm not a doctor, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I have to say that as a health coach. But look at the doctor, study it on your own, see what you find. Inflammation, reducing inflammation is just so key, so vital. Some of the supplements that I take, like turmeric, and a lot of these other things that I'm doing, is to reduce inflammation, because that is the basis of many significant ailments, including brain and heart disease. Increasing gastric emptying time, so could lead to constipation, and it's also a risk factor in disease of the colon. I think I had that one there twice. Oh no, there's also can lead to diarrhea, so it's one extreme or the other. More substantial food particles prematurely entering the small intestines, and a likely factor in food allergy sensitivities and various disease conditions. Increased swallowing rate. A fast swallowing rate is a possible factor for digestive upset, and there's an increase in food sensitivities and allergies. Plenty of anecdotal evidence, most likely due to decreased immunity and leaky gut. Leaky gut is becoming like the new pop song of the health and wellness industry. Leaky gut, is basically certain foods and they'd say peppers and tomatoes and leptins. I'm sorry, I don't have the correct term, but basically causing these tiny little holes in your lining of your intestine, and actual fecal matter and things that should be excreted are getting into our bodies. So I'm learning a lot more about leaky gut. I definitely sometimes feel like I have the symptoms of leaky gut. I've always eaten tomatoes. I've always eaten peppers. And I'm not telling you not to either, because there's science on both sides of this thing. That's why we just need to get more educated on it. But bottom line is this: stress is causing negative reactions there as well. Now, all of that is pretty amazing negative effects. But this was the mind-blowing, eye-opening one for me, what stress does to our digestive system. And this is why you can eat food fast or slow, but usually quick, like you just hop down some food at work and you're at your desk, and 10, 20 minutes later you just feel like there's a lump in your stomach. And it's because there is a lump in your stomach. The food is not being digested. You're under so much stress when you eat like that, and you're at work and you're just kind of just doing it as because you have to do it. That your body, again, is in a stress response. So what it does is it turns on the sympathetic nervous system, which basically means that your body is diverting resources to other parts of the body to deal with the stress. So it's doing all the hormone stuff. When it does that, it's actually shutting down the parasympathetic nervous system, which stimulates the body to feed and breed and to rest and digest. So if you're not in a parasympathetic state, if your body's not in a parasympathetic state, you are really almost unable to rest and digest. So your food may go through, its process, but you're not getting, again, the nutrients, the benefits from it, because of all of those other things that we just mentioned. So it's literally a switch. And when we're chronically stressed, that switch, kind of stays heightened in the sympathetic state. Therefore, the body is not able to fully feed and breathe and rest and digest. So this is direct link. Digestion and stress don't go together. They do not happen at the same time. You have to rest to digest. So if you're just scoffing down your food, 2 or 3 times a day, eating it in 5 or 10 minutes, wherever you can find the time, you are going to deal with the circumstances of it if you're not dealing with it already. Now, unfortunately, the results, instead of what you're doing today, and what we're doing in these next 7 days to take ownership of our health and wellness and do holistic things to improve it, the majority of Americans, probably the world, turn to medications and drugs. We go to the doctors. I'm stressed. I know I went twice, and once I had serious headaches, and another time I literally had a panic attack, panic attack. Um, and you don't really have to say much more than that for a doctor to give you a medication. They didn't give me a test. They didn't give me some examination. I told them how I felt, and they gave me a medication. It was called Buspar, Buspar. And my point is, that's how the medical world works for the most part. And I did generalize doctors there, and obviously highly respect doctors, but it's too quick to medicate, and it's too quick to just use this pill as the answer. And we're not doing enough taking responsibility of our own health and wellness to improve it. 1 in 5 adults are taking an anti-anxiety drug. It actually goes up to 1 in 4 if you just look at women. Women tend to um, live in this, more emotional state. So everything is connected to an emotion, which causes more stress. And, that's not good or bad. It is what it is. But women typically suffer more and or have that stress reaction more often because of the way their brain is just wired, and unfortunately are suffering as well at the expense of these side effects of medications. So there are perfectly good medications. If a doctor prescribes something, by all means, that's your prescription. But it will not cure the anxiety. It won't cure it. It'll be chemically maybe part of you managing it and part of you feeling better. And there's, much higher educated people than me that know, what that is. What I'm telling you is don't stop there. Don't stop at the medication. Continue to work on the holistic side of it, and some of these hacks that we're going to talk about here, including controlling blood sugar, better sleep, of course, exercise, diet, all of these things, you should take a very vested interest in them because they all are adding up to this stress. So now, if you're taking your medication, but you're also adding all these other things, there's a good chance, and I've read and seen where people are able to get off of their medications. It's that powerful. Your food is medicine. Your diet, your exercise is medicine. Water is medicine. And that's really what I want to get across, as we wrap up this kind of first hack. And I'm going to give you some hacks on managing and controlling stress. So the first one that I turn to is prayer. I'm Christian. I grew up, just believing in Jesus Christ, and I put here that when I'm feeling frayed around the edges, I'm probably spending too much time in the world and not enough time in prayer or reading the Bible. Whatever your faith, whatever your faith is, when you're not connected and you're just kind of further away from it, I think is when we most become overwhelmed, because we all of a sudden think that we can do it all. And if we can't do it all, then who's going to do it? So whatever your faith is, I'm saying connecting to it, praying, practicing it is of utmost importance. And it's definitely my first turn to for managing and controlling stress. Now, second hack is Qigong, yoga, meditation, affirmation. I don't know if you've done any of these. They're all very different, and I'm not trying to offend anyone that does Qigong or like Qigong over meditation. The point is, these are all very excellent mental and physical um, exercises that really, are giving you the ability to relax. They're giving you the ability to cope, and again, naturally. I love Qigong. I do Qigong as much as I can. I'm actually, even teaching Qigong informally. It's more of a standing meditation, moving meditation, posing meditation. I'm not good with just sitting still with the meditation. The Qigong has movement and meditation and breathing going on at the same time. It's all about releasing energy. So whatever it is, and affirmations are also super powerful. I play one every morning on YouTube. I go to affirmations and I play a video, and it's just kind of just sometimes you don't have anyone there to pat you on the back. We're adults. The days of somebody saying, "Hey, good job, Johnny," those days are long gone. And sometimes, we have to be our own best friend. Not sometimes, always be your own best friend. And if you could find these, affirmations that remind you, you are blessed, you are wonderfully made, you are made to prosper. These things, we sometimes need that reminder. And that's what the affirmations are. The Qigong, the yoga, meditation, any one of those, just tremendous things to pick up. I'll be posting a Qigong video. If you're interested, definitely email me, John at Uplevel Living, and I'll send you the link once it's ready. EFT is something I learned during my training at the Health Coach Institute. It's also known as tapping, and you're literally using your hands to tap on certain points of your head. There's other points on your body, and as you're tapping, it's similar to Qigong in a way where you're tapping centers that are releasing kind of energy and blocked energy. And there's also like something you would say like, "I feel blessed, I am happy, and I know that today is going to be a good day." And then again, "I feel blessed, I'm happy, I know today's going to be a good day. I feel blessed." So there's areas here, 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 and I know there's one on this under your armpit. So anyway, you can look it up you could Google it, EFT. I've heard with people that have ADD and ADHD that this is a great tool. So just again, another hack that you can use to help you manage and reduce stress. Daily check-in is another very cool program that I learned at HCI. And basically, I'm just moving to this next slide. Again, you could download it. Don't worry about taking notes. You'll have all of this. But you're actually asking yourself, what state are you in? Are you feeling great? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling a little stressed? Are you feeling definitely stressed? Or are you feeling stressed out? Just by acknowledging it, you take away a lot of the power of it. So it's much better than kind of ignoring it or just saying it's normal or it's going to go away. You're checking in, and then based on your response, you'll take a few minutes to address it by engaging in stress relieving exercises. The key is that each time you disrupt your current pattern of processing the daily stress life, you're improving the way your brain works and building the stress coping mechanism in your body. So it's kind of like acknowledging it, not ignoring it. Understanding that if this is the silent killer, you're not going to let it be silent. You're gonna say, "Hey, come on, let's deal with this." Number 5, everybody loves this: massage, essential oils, relaxation baths with salt. So essential oils is something I'm learning about, and also I'm learning about toxins in the house with perfumes and detergent, and those little fabric softening towels that we put I mean, there's so many things. Candles, oh my God, candles can be very toxic. Um, if you're a person that suffers with a lot of allergies, you may want to definitely look more into essential oils. But beyond the reducing the toxins in your home, it's adding a lot of beneficial things. Lavender to go to sleep, and there's just tons. You could put drops of lemon oils in your smoothie for improving your immunity. There's just essential oils are amazing. I'm working with a company called Young Living. If you could look them up, they're amazing. You can just buy the product from them, or you could be a reseller. They have this great program, and you get tremendous discounts. But any one of these things, massage, obviously, it's not always easy to get to a massage therapist. But if you could do it once in a while, I would recommend it. The essential oils you could do every single day, and a relaxation bath with salt. Send the kids over to somebody else, or if you don't have the kids, just make it a point. Just try to get it done once a week. Sleep. I could write an entire book, and many have been written recently on sleep. Sleep is like the third pillar of health. So you have diet, exercise, sleep. All of them are going to contribute to reducing stress, right? But sleep is literally when your body is restoring itself. So while you're sleeping, your body's busy working. It's saying we need new cells and regenerating itself. When you don't get enough sleep, you're physically depressed and your battery was not fully charged. So it's not just that you're tired, it's not just that you're cranky, it's that your body did not have the chance to restore itself. It's the restorative power. So even if you exercise and you diet and you don't sleep well, you are nowhere near getting the benefits that you think you're getting from those things. So, we'll talk actually more about sleep in another one of these hacks, and I'll give you some hacks to help you with your sleep routines. Number 7 is nature. I live in South Florida. I'm lucky enough that in the winter I can walk outside. It's 75 degrees outside. Um, the beach is 3 miles away. But around the country, it's not always the same thing in the winter. The vitamin D actually, when exposed to sunlight, can play a role in the prevention and treatment of many different conditions, including type 1 and 2 diabetes, hypertension, glucose. So it's an actual vitamin. It's an actual, direct benefit from the sun. Don't overdo it. 20 minutes. You don't want to slather on too much of the sunscreen. It has its own chemicals and its own, there's reports of some sunscreen being terrible for you and causing skin cancers. I'm not a doctor. I don't treat or diagnose illness. Sunscreen is still probably better to do than not. However, try to find, the ones that are deemed organic, the ones that are deemed, to have less of, these chemicals. But if you can get 20 minutes of sunlight without anything, what your body is producing as a benefit, as an effect, is very powerful. Smile. I don't have great teeth, and who cares? Smile. It really does make a difference. It's such an easy thing to do. I mean, of all these hacks, you could smile. You could smile. Fake it till you make it. Even, here's the report. Uh, were instructed to smile, and in particular, those whose faces expressed genuine smiles had lower heart rates after recovery from the stress activities than the ones who held their faces in neutral expressions. So maybe the phrase "grin and bear it" has some merit after all. Like I said, I practice Qigong, and one of the actual exercises in Qigong right at the beginning is to smile. It's amazing the benefits it produces just from doing that. Number 9, of course, exercise. And exercise can also be reworded as movement. Walking is exercise. Yoga is exercise. Stretching is exercise. You don't have to jog 3 miles every day to be exercising. It is good to get your body to sweat. Sweat releases a lot of toxins. But you don't have to do that every day. But you should try to also get some more, intense exercise. It doesn't have to be jogging again. It could be elliptical. It could be, just maybe a bicycle is a great one, low impact. But get your heart rate up, and it is a muscle, so get your heart rate up and sweat. Scientists have found that regular participation in aerobic exercise has shown to decrease, sorry about that, overall levels of tension, elevate and stabilize mood, improve sleep, and improve self-esteem. So this is kind of connected to a lot of these other things that we spoke about before. So just by exercising, you're improving those other areas as well. Number 10, I hope we're all adults here. Have sex, have fun, and don't take yourself too seriously. So save the best here for last. If if you're not married and you don't have a partner, obviously practice safe sex. But overall, have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. This world, I live here in South Florida. I'm sure anywhere else in the country, you get on the interstate, you just try to merge on the interstate, and there it begins. Everyone's just either they don't let you in, they're cutting you off, they're flipping you off. People just they just we get this world revolves around me syndrome. And it's getting worse, people. We need to chill out. Let them pass, wave at them, smile, have a great day. Don't let it affect you negatively. You don't even know this person, and you're letting them ruin your day. Don't do it. Don't give anybody your joy. Don't let them steal it. If I had a bonus one, number 11 here for you, I would say keep reading, keep learning, keep watching videos like this. I congratulate you again for taking this course. You're never too old. They say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. In the last 4 years, I've learned probably more than I did in the previous 8 years combined. So I've invested in myself. I've done the things that you're doing here. And it's made a tremendous difference in my life. So continue to read, continue to learn. You can never stop learning. You can never learn enough. Learning, though, however, is not transformation. Learning is the tool you need to transform. Action is what transforms you. Everything that you've learned here will mean nothing if you shut down the computer or wherever you're watching it and do nothing. And just say, wow, that's interesting stuff, huh? Parasympathetic, sympathetic, great information. Now, what are you going to do with it? Here's what you'll do. If you haven't already, you're going to print this out. Put it in a folder. Day one. Get yourself a journal. Day one, out of all of these hacks that I gave you, I'm going to start doing one of them. And for a week, I'm going to try this one, whichever one that you want to pick here. And now create a plan, create a goal. And then next week a different one. And you go from exercise, and we're going to talk about sleep, and we're going to talk about all of these other, different things that you're gonna do to help you control and manage your stress. It's simple. You're not going to a class for an hour a day. You don't have to stop what you're doing. This is just integrating it into your everyday life. So when the stress triggers come, you can deal with it. It can go the acute reaction, and end there, and not become chronic, and not become this heightened level of cortisol that's killing us, right? It just happens, and life is going to happen. You're going to have a stressful, reaction, and then it goes away. It doesn't stay there. So tomorrow we're going to get into controlling your blood sugar, because we talked about all of these hacks, but what we can do that'll move the needle to control stress more than anything else is actually managing and controlling your blood sugar. So we're all pretty much addicted to sugar, and Americans' diets are so high in sugar. And I'm not going to eliminate sugar for you, so don't get scared. But you are going to learn how to manage and control sugar. Excuse me, and what we say, getting off the blood sugar roller coaster. So I hope you enjoyed this. Your email now will have a link to the PDF, so you can download it. And again, get yourself that journal. Day one was off to a great start. I'll see you tomorrow.